Hey guys, I'm Jeff, this is Dan.
Hey guys.
We're going to be talking to you today about what makes gaming communities so great. All right, so Dan, in your opinion, what makes gaming communities so great?
I think really with gaming communities, it's that element of bringing different people together. We all you have that shared love of whether it's a board game, whether it's a card game, or whether it's a miniatures game. Doesn't matter what it is, but if you're in a gaming community, it's just that sense of other like-minded people being together. Also, meeting other people you might not necessarily deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know, you come into gaming stores and you meet someone who's completely different walk of life, but they are passionate about the same game as you, and you can have this instant connection with people who you would never meet. You know, it's just that sense of bringing everyone together really is what I think for me is a brilliant element of gaming communities.
It's interesting that you say that because I think there is definitely an element of like-mindedness between a gaming group that likes board games and they absolutely love board games compared to the like-mindedness of like a group that might love a particular tabletop miniature game or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably a really good example of that is a game that has an IP. Like if you consider a Star Wars IP, you're probably going to get a lot of like old Star Wars fans that have just absolutely loved it since, from the dawn of time. And
I think with certainly with Star Wars as well, you're raising a fine point over the sheer variety of, you've got older guys like myself who we grew up with 3 Star Wars films. And then you've got some of the younger members of the community they've got all this, like obviously your Disney Channel and the rest of it with all the Star Wars there. So to bring those people together and they've got that shared passion from a generational standpoint as well, it's just really good to see that cross-generational chat.
Yeah.
So
that kind of brings me back to the Star Wars promo video that we made for TTW and just like the the side jokes and the Easter eggs that were in there that the older guys would just absolutely love and know exactly what you're talking about. But it may have gone over some of the heads of some of the people that had picked up Star Wars from just the most recent 3 movies, let's just say.
Absolutely. I had too much fun filming that video. That was far too much fun. So good to be here.
Chip the cup came out.
The inner chip came out. Oh dear. Yeah, that was brilliant.
No, I think one thing I absolutely love about particular gaming communities is just that you can feel like it's home for you, right? It feels like you're going to a place and playing games with people that just feel like family, let's just say.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for our local Blood Bowl league down in Prospect, certainly that community has just gone from 2 guys who I gave an intro game to many years ago. Those guys took the ball and run with it. And the sense of family with that league, and got people who are really, they don't understand the game, but they come in and then they're so welcomed in. The commissioners over in the Prospectors League are doing such a wonderful job. Go Prospectors. But again, it's that sense of community, always bringing it back to, no matter what hard times you're going through, when you're here at home, you're with friends, you're with family, you are safe to play your games and not let the outside world worry you.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that is a key element in those community groups where when it's there, it's such a good feeling to know.
I've got to say, you're very, very good at fostering a community. Do you have any secret hints or tips about how to foster a brand new community?
I think a lot of it is being able to encourage the new people who are, they show an interest, but they're really uncertain. And it's, take for instance Blood Bowl. if you say to people, oh, it's American football, but it's fantasy. But if you explain some of the ridiculous elements of the game, like a troll can be killed by a very, very small dwarf, and it's like, well, that shouldn't happen, but it does.
Yeah.
But you can get people excited about the game, but you've got to, I think you have to connect with those people, you know, and helping those new folk who are looking for a direction, you know, and they will start exploring the game, they'll start getting used to it, but then involving them straight in the community is one of the first things I always do is when we're talking to people, I will make sure we're pointing them in the right direction, saying, hey, community members, come and check out our community. They're a friendly bunch. We meet on these nights. Come on in. If you're not too certain, come and, you know, arrange with me and I can take you over, introduce you. And it's really making sure that people feel comfortable when they are learning a game or, you know, getting to grips with the game. They're not quite confident, so you've just got to help be a support system for those people, basically. I think that's where my sense of fostering communities comes in as well.
Where does the element of mentorship come in for new people coming in? Sort of how important is it for them to find someone within the group that they really resonate with?
Yeah, I think it's having, certainly it can be a bit of a generational thing. Some of the younger members will look up to the older members of the community, but not always. It's not just to do with age, but I think it's, you know, feeling like you have that person to say, oh, Jeff, I'm struggling with this game. Can you know this game? Can you show me? Because it's about getting your passion across to the new people as well, and making that person feel safe enough to have that mentor around, saying, hey, this is how we play the game. You know, we do it in a casual manner. Certainly a key element in that is not just throwing a brand new player into competitive play, and you know, so having that person, we've got quite a few mentor type figures within our communities who are always happy to, they might sit next to you as you're playing a game, and you might be struggling and you might have someone pop over going, oh yeah, you're doing good, you just want to, you know, just watch this, and having your opponent be on the same page of like, yeah, that's cool, we're not in it for, you know, sheep stations, we're here having a good time, and we want to make sure you're guided through to a point where you're comfortable enough to just be in the community and feel like you belong, because that's what we want at the end of the day. We want everyone to belong to the community that they want to be in. So
yeah, do you know what that makes me think of? There's been several times when I've talked to people who have said, oh, I used to play Warhammer like 20 years ago and I've been out of it for such a long time. I had kids or family or whatever, and now I'm just getting back into it. Like, how do you find the best way is for people like that to become again immersed into that community?
I think with people who have been away from the hobby and they come back in, it's really good because you can find out what they enjoyed about the hobby. You know, you have people coming in, again, that's a very common thing, you know, people coming in down to the store saying, just got back into it, you know, I got bored or I've got free time in my life now and I want to get back to it. So finding out what they want out of it and being able to direct that person to exactly what they're after. If they're just dipping the toe back in, you know, I've had people who are like, you know, I'm not too sure, but then they'll pick up, say, a combat patrol for 40k, they'll glue it all together, they'll paint it, and they'll be like, right, ready for my first game, or, you know, I haven't played for years. Others will go, okay, I want to jump straight into the competitive scene. And again, it's about connecting those people to the right elements of the community. Obviously, the competitive scene is not like the casual scene, you know, and you've got to make sure that you're putting the right person in the right direction to find their place. It's been nice with the uptick of people coming back into the hobby scene, going, hey, I was in it 20 years ago. A lot's changed. But again, spending that time with someone, giving them the mentorship of, hey, well, this is what's changed. But you know, the the feel of the game is essentially still there. Come on down, you get your minis painted or glued together, because not many people have got a fully painted army. But, get your minis on the table, have some fun, and make those connections, and make sure you're there to help with making those connections, because it can be daunting for a lot of people coming in going, where do I start, who do I go to, who do I see? But if you can direct that person and say, hey, come on in, play with us, we'll introduce you to some of the community, and then people generally find that place pretty quickly as well. They'll find where they're comfortable at, and they're able to relay sort of what they're after, and they quickly figure out, I'm enjoying casual, I'm enjoying competitive, I want to be super competitive, and I want to win state tournaments, and that's fine as well. You just got to make sure those people are getting to the right parts of the community that they want to be in. So
It's funny, I feel like the people that come and do say, yeah, I've been out for 20 years and I'm coming back, they are some of the most passionate people that, when they come back and they just realize how much they absolutely used to love, picking up the hobby and painting or building or playing or whatever.
Yeah.
As soon as they get back into it, they're like, I need to have everything now.
Yeah. It's a common addiction problem. So, but yeah, you find it a lot with the miniatures games, especially.
And Magic as well, actually.
Magic as well. We've had quite a few people going, I played many years ago. I was playing in Dragons of Tarkir or Khans of Tarkir or back in the, and it's like, yeah, cool, come and jump in and check out the new formats. And, again, the Magic community is absolutely huge. Yeah. And there's always different formats, different structures that people want to play. And again, it's finding where people feel comfortable in those communities of what they want out of it. So it's good to see people's passion reignite after so many years. It's like, oh, I'm loving it.
It's really cool.
And then you'll see them gradually come in, and then you'll see them with one or two of the regulars. And then before you know it, you see them every Friday night coming in.
They join the group
in.
chats. They're having beers after.
I've had some people who were like they didn't know each other. They met each other through the store, but now a year or two later, always playing in each other's houses. They're always coming down to the store. They're taking on new members of the community under their wing to be like, yeah, come and join us. We've had a few people joining like 40k teams to play in competitive events. So it's good to see that the people finding their comfort zone, but also being able to grow with the people around them. And it's that sense of inclusion. People feel like they belong to, this is my team. I'm really enjoying playing with these people. I've found my group. I found my community where I feel like myself. So
some of the old kit that they have as well is pretty cool. They come back and they'll be like, oh, everything's now in plastic, but I used to collect it when it was all in pewter.
Yes. I dug a few out myself. I got like an old Furioso Dreadnought. For those Warhammer fans listening, you'll know what that is. But he's solid metal. My old man painted it. I found it when I was moving. And it was you could kill someone with that thing.
Wow. Is it pewter, or what do they used to make it out of?
It's like a soft metal compound from what I know. It's softer. It's a bit more easy to bend. Which isn't always a good thing. But many years ago they were lead. And then they went to like a pewter, and then I think there's some sort of composite material they use now, and then they've moved away to your resins or your plastic in like injection molding type things they use now.
Lead is not a chew toy.
Definitely not. I wouldn't advise it. For those watching, do not chew on your lead miniatures. We do not condone it.
I think one of the things that I really, really love to see in communities, and you touched on it before, is just when you've seen one person just join and they've been doing it now for about a year, and then they start introducing their friends, and it's kind of like you tell one person, and then that person tells 3 people, and then those people each tell 3 people, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've actually got quite a large group of people who
Well,
are
this
joined
is
in.
it, and it's about that. It's about that networking element as well. You meet so many. You know, I've had several people who, like you say, they get into it. 6 months down the track, they're like, "Oh, I've introduced this to my friends now," and you see them drag people into the store, going, "This is where I come," and then they'll introduce you to the friends. It's like, "This is Dan," or "This is Jeff,"
Yeah.
and it's nice to feel like you've had an impact in someone's life like that, and that's going back to the community element. That's, I think, the most satisfying part of that is just making those connections with people and just really, one-on-one, being able to be like, hey, we don't know each other, but we've bonded over this shared love of this hobby, and it's just so cool to meet people who, I mean, obviously I'm not from Australia, if you didn't tell. The accent gave it away.
You're pretty ochre. I don't
Yeah. But, a small suburbs boy from Liverpool is now in Australia meeting people who are from such different backgrounds, all because of community and what we can do when we have shared love of gaming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll just have to get your brother round here to join
Well,
in.
I'm working on him. I'll get him coming to play games with us, and we'll play some Star Wars. You've got to teach him Fab. I think he'd enjoy Fab.
I'm sure he would love it.
So,
yeah.
most definitely.
Did you have anything else you wanted to chat about?
No, I think we've covered some very good points again this week.
Yeah, great work.
Absolutely. Good episode.
Yeah, thanks. Well, guys, again, thanks. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dan.
We'll catch you on our next episode. Cheers.
Bye-bye.